Is this truly the great financial reset? And was it Bitcoin all along? I'm going to share with you my narrative from 2009 all the way to today. We're also going to talk about the job markets. And I told you guys they were going to lower interest rates in September to pay attention to the job markets. Okay. With Japan almost collapsing, their markets melting down, our markets melting down, we have to lower interest rates, which is going to be great for your assets. But let's take a look at another narrative around Bitcoin. On the back end of this video, I'm going to show with you how dramatically things have changed. So buckle up. Let's go on a ride. On the back end of every video, I share with you exactly what I'm doing. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is we need to talk about the macro and microeconomics. August 5th, 2024, U.S. bank stocks dip after country's unemployment rate jumps. So I've been sharing with you guys to pay attention to unemployment. If you're an investor, you have to pay attention to rates, unemployment, very, very important. Inflation, unemployment, rates, okay? The markets are going to move based on macro and microeconomics, okay? It's very important to understand those things. Unless you're a day trader, totally different story. I'm not a day trader. I'm a long-term fundamental investor, and I pull profits as it goes up. So the job markets, this administration was touting that they had the best. Of course, you had the best job markets. You came out of a post-pandemic where everybody lost their jobs. So everybody started coming back. We pumped a bunch of stimulus into the economy. Our bank accounts were stacked. And then by 2023, the bank accounts were empty. Now the consumer credit index, credit cards are stacked. We have a 19% cumulative inflation, and the middle class is getting wiped out. Leverage source technology moving down to the working poor. Now the job markets, you're starting to see it. The job markets are starting to falter. So because of their interest rates hikes and their cooling inflation, that always affects unemployment. And they're saying, oh, it's great. But remember, the last jobs report, they added 70,000 governmental jobs. Can't we be more efficient in the government? That's where the favorable market came from. Well, now we're starting to get a true post-pandemic economy. You're starting to see people lose their jobs. You're starting to people not be able to afford groceries. I don't care what they say or what they tout behind that presidential White House thing, that little podium. But let me ask you, is groceries more expensive? Is it more expensive for your rent? Is it more expensive to live and to travel? Yes, it is. Okay. So this is really, really important to pay attention to. August is going to be bumping. So U.S. hiring fell sharply in July, an unexpected setback for the economy, stroking recession fears. So this started to cause Japan freaked out. Or the economy freaked out, right? So they're like, oh my gosh, there's a recession coming. But what we have to do, right? It's all interconnected, guys. Don't get played. It's all interconnected. Okay. When Japan starts to collapse, America needs to turn on that QE again, and we're going to start turning on the printing machine again. They're going to lower rates and they're going to turn that printing machine on again. But there's something that we need to pay attention to, and I would love to hear your comments down below, right? I'm just doing the best I can with the research and trying to connect all the logical circuits. Comment down below what you think is happening. I would love to hear, especially on Twitter. I'd love to hear your opinion on what you think is happening, because I'm going to give you mine, and it may rattle some people a little bit, but here's what I really think is happening. So Powell faces mutiny on Wall Street if he doesn't make September rate cuts. He's going to make September rate cuts. If he doesn't, it's going to be an upheaval. Okay. So we're first going to listen to this narrative. Okay. Not narrative, but we're going to listen to what Michael said. What is a narrative?
Welcome back.
Michael Saylor says, okay, just in, Michael Saylor on CNBC says U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve is a great idea. We're going to watch the first 2 minutes of this video, and I'm going to share with you what Donald Trump Jr. posted, and then I'm going to share with you from 2009 to today a perspective, and I would love to hear your feedback down below.
Stocks are higher right now as they come off their worst day in nearly 2 years. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is staging a comeback as well, up more than 5%. And crypto-adjacent names like Coinbase and MicroStrategy are also attempting at comebacks here. Joining us now to discuss is Michael Saylor, co-founder and chairman of MicroStrategy. Michael, it's great to speak with you. Thanks for being back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we did see this mini crash in Bitcoin yesterday. It's traded as a risk-on asset, considered a proxy for liquidity in the markets. At least one technician I've spoken to in the last 24 hours said we're really range-bound here, up to 61,000. What's the next catalyst? What breaks it out?
You know, I think the events of Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville a few weeks ago were just very catalytic and marked an inflection point for Bitcoin. You had presidential candidates, you had governors, you had senators, you had House members, you had CEOs, you had billionaire investors in the audience.
Okay, so that's key. Key what he just said. We had senators, presidential candidates. Think about that for just a moment. Just write that down for just a moment.
Senator Lummis presented a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill, and that's our Louisiana Purchase moment. What happened there was the Overton window shift. Now it's possible to discuss nation states holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And if nation states are going to buy it, then it's reasonable for institutions, corporations, and individuals to.
Okay, so let's pause right here. I'd highly recommend you go watch this interview. Proposal to establish strategic Bitcoin reserve. Write that down. Establish decentralized network of Bitcoin vaults operating by Treasury Department. Implement 1 million unit Bitcoin purchase program over set period of time. And they feel that this could lower our national debt by half in 2045, I think it is, as Senator Loomis said. And then this just came out yesterday. Donald Trump Jr., big things coming. This is the future. I have truly fallen in love with crypto. This is Eric Trump, DeFi. Stay tuned for a big announcement at Trump and real Donald Trump. Okay, so there's a big announcement coming as well. So I'm going to give you guys, I would love, because there's a lot of people who are, this is about us coming together as a community. Let's get rid of all these borders in regards to our tribalism, and let's communicate about this. Share your opinion down below, what you think of what I'm about to say. I would love to hear the opposition, all this stuff. Okay, so 2009. America went through a collapse. Think about it. You're the other countries. America is the dominant currency, the bully, right? We raise rates, it F's up their economy. We lower rates, it pumps their economy, right? It messes with exports and imports and all that stuff. So all of a sudden, in 2006 to 2008, we completely collapsed. And all the other countries, like, who was regulating your banks? I was going into banking after the collapse. There was people that had loans that had no income, $1 million homes. So what happens, as Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out? You see who doesn't have swim trunks on. What happens when someone gets a large amount of wealth and they stop doing the things that they did to get that wealth? They get sloppy. America got really sloppy. Low interest rates, printing of money, easy way to make money. You could pop up a business and, getting these booms and bust cycles. Social media was coming out, all these different things. And all of a sudden, everything collapses. The other countries are like, what the hell is going on? If these guys are dominating our currency when they're being sloppy over there, this is just my opinion. So it was Goldman Sachs that came up with BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the acronym, and BRICS actually took that. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa in 2009 created the BRICS, to de-dollarize. That's been their goal the whole time, guys. And then all of a sudden, Satoshi Nakamoto creates Bitcoin. And we still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Okay. So 2009, he creates Bitcoin. BRICS works to de-dollarize. Okay. Then we get to 2012. The FOMC has created Future Oversight Committee to regulate non-bank financial institutions, and Gary Gensler was part of creating the FOMC. Rosie Rios was told to reduce coin and cash usage in 2012, but she couldn't. She said you need a shock to the system to change consumer behaviors. She couldn't because Obama turned the printing machine on full blast in 2012 with the Obama Rescue Plan. And also, they created the Bank Bail-In Committee. So 2009, Bitcoin's inception. Interesting. BRICS was created. We don't know who created Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden in 2012, they create all these committees that are in alignment with 2023, 2024, after they turned on the printing machine full blast. Okay, let's stop for a moment. Then we get to 2020. Then we have a global pandemic that shuts all of us down, changes our consumer behaviors, reduces coin and cash usage. Okay. At the same time, 2017 going into 2020, they tell you cryptocurrency is a fraud. It's used for money laundering. Bitcoin is junk. It's rat poisoning, blah, 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 blah. At the same time, JP Morgan is creating Onyx, their own blockchain, JPM coin. At the same time, Wells Fargo's with all R3. At the same time, Ripple's inside of Bank of America's patent. At the same time, these innovative companies are exploding. Okay. And then all of a sudden, December 2020, they throw out a case against Ripple, the most disruptive company in the world around our financial system that can fix the liquidity crisis. And we've been in a case for about 3.5 years, when if you look at the SEC, it's about 12 to 24 months for egregious cases. For some reason, this non-egregious case has lasted 3.5, 4 years, and it's going to settle right at the exact time. Here's a narrative. At the exact time that all of a sudden Bitcoin goes from completely decentralized, the conference, to senators, presidential candidates on stage. We're going to bring it into the treasury. We're all about Bitcoin. And everybody's cheering. And I'm like, you just took it from a completely decentralized anti-government thing to a full government thing. In 2009, we still don't know who. Now I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm buying a shitload of it. Like I'm trying to accumulate, well, as much as I possibly can, right? Every day I'm buying Bitcoin. When it dips, I buy more because I'm seeing this broader picture of what's happening. Did they create an asset in 2009 knowing how effed up the system was? Think about that for just a moment. Did they create a system knowing that, hey, this is the end of an era? Since 1913, they could see this, guys. You guys can see this yourself. Think about this. Since 1913, the dollar's collapsed 97 to 99%. You don't think in 2006 to 2008, after that big collapse in 2008, they're like, we effed up. And they could see how much the dollar was devalued. And these are very smart people. You don't think they can see the math if they kept printing at lower interest rates like that? So maybe they're like, hey, this is the end of an era. Let's go all in. And let's print as much money as possible. And let's buy as many properties as possible. And let's buy as many assets as possible. And let's overextend the middle class. And then all of a sudden, the middle class rolls into 2024. They no longer can pay their mortgage payments. They no longer can feed their family. They have to make $150,000 a year to be middle class. And then, we'll all of a sudden tell them in 2023 that it's a flight to quality. It's a flight to safety. And then when we're ready to profit from it, we'll now, Morgan Stanley, let our financial advisors reach out to you and say, hey, the very thing that I told you was used for money laundering and you should run away from it. I'm now going to make commission off it. Please come on in. The water's warm. I don't know, guys. I would love to hear your narrative down below on what you think. There's probably a lot smarter people watching this video than me. But that's how I make my investments. And people say, oh, crypto's a Ponzi scheme. The American dollar's a Ponzi scheme, guys. Think about that. I take $10,000. I put it into the bank from one of my companies. They take my money and they lend it out to you walking in. There is no money in the system. There is zero money in the system. It's all debt. So now the Treasury, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, is about to turn the printing machine back on. They're about to turn the printing machine back on. They're going to lower rates in September. They have to get Japan's economy. We have to. With Japan's economy collapsing, we have to lower. It's not just about us in America, what's happening, guys. This is global. America is the dominant currency. America's dollar is not going to collapse anytime soon, guys. What we do dominates everything. Everybody's working together. Don't get it disillusioned, guys. This is all interconnected. So here's what I believe is going to happen. Is I believe within the next 10 years, Trump said this 7 years ago, we're going to be on an even playing field sooner than we know it. And all of a sudden, Trump is in Bitcoin conference. Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. Even playing field, even monetary system. It's do you have your shit together or not? Not do you have the ability to print money? We're the only country that can print our own money. We're the only country that can print and buy our own debt back, junk bonds, and help out our brothers and sisters. The other countries have to sit there and be dominated and bullied by us. But we're going into an even playing field, guys. And this goes for you as well. Do you have your shit together? Is your family's house in order? Do you have a relationship with God and Christ? Or your religious background or whatever it is? I support you. But right now, me and my family, we're getting our shit together. We're working out twice a day. My 20-year-old daughter's hitting the gym. She's getting up early. She's reading books around mindset. My son is training for the barbarian with me. He's doing jujitsu. He's exercising. 8-year-old son. We are preparing mentally, physically, and spiritually for the biggest transformation in wealth in history. This is not a game, family. This is your future. This is your future. So I'd love to hear your feedback down below. I'm buying as much Bitcoin as I can accumulate. And I have my all other altcoins all stacked, and I'm going to hold my Bitcoin forever. I'm not touching it. I'll borrow against that asset to buy other appreciating assets in the future. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I would love to hear your opinion down below. And I just want to say thank you as well for all the support and all the love, the hate, the love. I love you all so much. If you need any support at all, we get hundreds of messages a day. The only way we can handle them is by supporting you with my team. So down below, if you click the description, you can fill out a needs assessment. Okay. Fill out the needs assessment properly. A lot of people ask me how I insure my wealth. Okay. You'll fill that out. We have team that can help you with retirement strategies. They'll ask you, hard-hitting questions. What do you want for your retirement? What do you want for your future? And then we can help you build a retirement strategy that can help you understand how the future is going to work. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. That's in the description down below, or click my social media platform and fill out that needs assessment. Remember, I will never ask you about your crypto. I do not invest people's money. We will never ask you to send us money. So be careful of those scammers out there. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.